It's on there, like numbers I hear.
We just don't want to travel.
So.
You see what Tracy.
You might download it.
But I was thinking of your
Find anything that's open. The only thing I understand is just stuff.
and when
Sometimes it's no.
he said, yes. And he said,
Do I need to turn it on? Sign this visitor.
And I just showed you what Ron's did.
I don't think so. I don't think this is.
Be pretty light, right?
Whatever the volunteers get, once I'm done. That way.
Just take the ones that are broken down.
I used to love it.
Yeah, well, I heard you say that.
Yes.
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm good, man.
Shipping report.
Okay, nice to meet you. You didn't do anything. Yeah, I just stopped in. Okay. Good afternoon, tell me. Okay, John. Say it. No, not What's he going? Oh my.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Haven't seen you forever.
What else? Oh, Kayla. Yeah. I thought they were doing sort of like that. But did you tidbits now? Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm stunned.
Do we have any cards?
I have not eaten. I
We brought, I told her to only bring snacks.
I didn't breakfast. I went to the funeral.
That's my fault.
Can we go look?
I'm sorry.
Well, I told her that tomorrow we'll have some. Is that loud enough? Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to call the Peoria Public Schools District 150 Special Board of Education meeting for June 30th, 2016 to order. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Floyd?
Here.
Mrs. Costick? Here. Mrs. Jackson?
Here.
Mrs. Wolfmeyer? Mr. Shaw?
Here.
Mr. Adler?
Here.
Mrs. Ross?
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any audience? I don't have to read it if we don't have any.
I didn't find any cards.
Okay. In the absence of any audience presentation, we will move on to the next item, which is the consent agenda. Mr. Floyd.
Thank you, Madam President. This evening's consent agenda consists of the following items. Number one, the Human Resources Report. Proposed action is the appointment, employment, compensation, performance, resignation, retirement, or discharge of an employee. Item number two, interim payments. The proposed action is that the Board of Education approve the school district's expenditure of funds to defray necessary and proper expenses and liabilities of the school district incurred for educational operations and maintenance or transportation or site and construction purposes of the district, until which time the annual budget of the district is adopted in conformity with applicable sections of the Illinois School Code. Item number three, resolution approving the Illinois School District Liquid Asset Fund Plus Certificate of Deposit Program, ISDLAF Plus. Proposed action is that the resolution be approved as presented. Item number four, the resolution authorizing interim fund transfers and loans and authority to invest funds. Proposed action is that the resolution be approved as presented. Item number five, tax deductions. The proposed action is that the resolution be approved as presented. Item number six, resolution designating depositories. Proposed action is that the resolution designating depositories be approved. And item number seven, treasurer's bond. Proposed action that the following resolution be approved, providing for a $1 million treasurer's bond. And that concludes, I'm sorry, that's $15 million. My apologies. Let me read that again. That the following resolution be approved, providing for a $15 million treasurer's bond. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you. I think that's it. Are there any, can I get a motion in a second on the consent agenda?
Anything to be pulled?
Yeah. Okay. Are there any items people want to pull from the, board members want to pull from the agenda? Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on any of the items? Okay. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Floyd?
Aye.
Mrs. Costick? Aye. Mrs. Jackson?
Aye.
Mrs. Wolfmeyer? Mr. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Adler?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you. Dr. Karat, would you like to introduce any of the individuals you have on the human resources?
Thank you, President Ross, and I am very, very pleased to announce three new members, three new individuals to Peoria Public Schools administrative team. We have worked very, very hard all year long to identify the right fit, and these positions were advertised. We actually utilized community support to serve on the on the interview committee, and I see Mrs. San Philip is in the back. Thank you for assisting with filling actually all the three positions, along with a couple of staff members and myself and other community members. And so we have in front of you, I see Dr. Ikwejaku. Can you please stand, Dr. Ike? He is, welcome, sir. He's going to be our Associate Superintendent of Human Resources, and it is pronounced, I've been asked several times already, Dr. Ikwejaku, who actually he recently served as Assistant Superintendent for East St. Louis School District, and he also served as a trainer consultant within his tenure. And I've known him as HR director actually in Springfield, District 186, for many, many years. So he also comes to us actually from Rochester, the state of Illinois, from Rochester, New York School District. Dr. Ikwejaku's priority for Peoria Public Schools will be to recruit and retain top qualified and certified staff in spite of the national teacher shortage. So I know it's going to get done. In addition to recruiting and retaining, also mentoring. So let's give Dr. Ikwejaku a nice round of applause and welcome. Actually, the last time we had the last executive director of HR resources was October 2010, followed by an interim role with Mrs. Hammer. So this position has been actually open for a while. It's a really well-needed position. We have several vacancies, and so that we need that support in terms of being intentional and deliberate, again, regarding recruitment, retention. So as I said, this position has been sort of void, and the last full-time executive director was in 2010. Then the next individual, we have, those positions are really tough to fill. We are very fortunate to have Mr. Mick Willis. He joins the Peoria Public Schools as the Chief Financial Officer. Thank you, sir, for standing. You can actually come close. I don't know if they can see you. He has some amazing experiences. High-level administrative experiences from a variety of school districts. He's serving in the financial role capacity, particularly within the St. Louis metropolitan area, including Normandy, which is actually where he currently is, and Ferguson, Florissant, and St. Charles, Missouri. He has served actually as an adjunct professor in the Graduate School of Education at Webster University, and also he has worked with the Missouri Department of Education. Mr. Willis will replace, remember Mr. Wilcoxon, he retired in September of 2015, and we had several individuals fill that position for us mostly in a consulting manner and assisted in that capacity. So that position has been open really for the most part 2015 with some consultant support. So we are again thrilled and excited that you have your work cut out for you, because the ultimate goal is to balance the budget. So welcome, Mr. Willis. Thank you. And last but not least, it's a young man that I have admired. Actually, I would say he's coming back home. He's worked as either a principal or assistant principal at Garfield, White, And the last time we worked together, we were at Laux, the principal at Laux. And so drawing from Peoria's local talent pool, I would like to introduce the next individual who's going to be part of my cabinet team, Mr. Thomas Welch. He's going to be the academic instructional officer in charge of 10 of the district schools. Mr. Welch has served, again, as an administrator in Peoria and Dunlap. He spent 10 years as the high school principal in Dunlap, and prior to that was a middle school principal. He actually has an eclectic experience in terms of principalship, which is quite unique, similar to mine in terms of he has been an elementary principal, a middle school principal, and a veteran high school principal. So I was really pleased with that high school experience. So Mr. Welch's background includes successful grant writing and successful efforts to increase standardized test scores. So again, welcome, Mr. Welch, and I'm looking forward to working with not only you, but Mr. Willis and Dr. Ikujako. Let's give Mr. Welch a nice welcome. Round of applause. So that's what I have for you, Mrs. Rawson.
Thank you. And the list is pretty long, and a lot of these are bringing teachers back, getting some of those positions filled early on before July 1st so that people know where they're going.
Yes, ma'am, and also hiring new staff. So we're doing a really nice job getting people in place. The idea is to fill these positions before our kids are back in the buildings on August 17th. So the goal is to make sure that every classroom has a high qualified teacher in that classroom instead of a substitute.
Thank you. Any comments from board members? Okay. You have something? Okay.
First of all, I'd just like to welcome all the new people aboard. Then I really would like to congratulate Dr. Karat and Ms. San Philip for doing such an outstanding job. You know, one of the things that I talked about when I came on the board was to make sure we have a diverse workplace. And so thank you so much for your hard work and for doing something that this board's been talking about for a long time. So I certainly welcome, and Kujaku, did I say it right?
Dr.
Because you've got a lot of work to do, but I'm sure if those two people identified you as someone this district need, you'll do it. So thank you so much for all your hard work, Ms. San Philip, and our superintendent.
And there was a team of people, I think. These are just two.
I heard her.
Okay.
Carla was part of the team. Carla
Carla?
was actually very thrilled with,
Thank
especially
you.
her CFO. She literally selected him unilaterally, hands down. Said, okay, we have to go through the process, Carla.
Carla's on.
That's right, her son is getting married.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so she's not in the team. You have any comments, Mr. Clark?
Yes, just welcome, congratulations. It's great to see experienced and professional talent join this organization. Tomorrow's my last board meeting, so you'll have 24 hours to deal with me, and you won't have to deal with me. But
Being
we're really,
as a citizen.
As a citizen only, yes. But it's great to have you here. You have plenty of work in front of you, and I think you'll find it to be a very constructive and encouraging environment to work with and for Dr. Karat. And I hope that you have that experience in your professional relationships here.
Any other comments?
Yes, I'd like to take the time to welcome you. We're definitely thrilled that you have joined us. You do have your work cut out, so, you know, we're not downplaying that at all. But we know that you're up to the challenge. Wishing you the best, and if there's anything that I'll speak for the board that we can do to help you, let us know. Thank you.
Okay. Any presentations and suggestions? I think we just did the presentations, suggestions by board members. Do you have any additional presentations, suggestions?
I have some suggestions,
Okay.
which
Now is the time.
but this is strictly informal and off the cuff. A number of things have changed in terms of the opening of school. One of them is we've changed the date for physicals to be prepared and submitted as the first day of school.
First day compliance.
Second is that we've realigned attendance areas for some schools and changed the grade level transitions, which is long overdue and is very much needed. And third is we're changing the transportation routes. And my concern is that there are a number of families in the community that may not realize that those things have changed. And there are areas in the community that won't see buses going up and down their streets, and people may not realize that school is back in session. So I think it's really important to make every effort to communicate to families that school starts when it starts, that the transportation has changed, and that the need for the physicals and the health exams is completed on time, just so that you can get off to a good start. It's a lot of change, it's manageable, but it's going to require a great deal of communication. I would just urge you to keep at that.
Thank you. It's funny, it seems like you were in a cabinet meeting yesterday, and those three things came up, and Chris and I and the entire team are continuing to talk about communicating with the public. We strategize, there's continued strategy. Chris, would you like to maybe make some comments? We talked about the Gary Moore Show, the hubs, and first day compliance actually will be a very good thing for us, because remember, when they come in, they're enrolled August 17th, but if they're not in compliant, then after October 15th, they're not in compliant, they're sent home, then it affects and impacts attendance and attendance rates and those sorts of things. So it's sort of forces, but we have spent the last 3 months or so, and transportation in and of itself, there are lots of ways, things that we're doing to communicate with families. So go ahead, Mr. Copeland, thank you.
So we've been working to put together our back-to-school mail packets, which include the principal newsletters, the school supply list. Transportation has several documents in there, including the safe routes for the schools that have changed. And those will be going out. Our warehouse is stuffing those next week, and they will be going out by the end of next week to all families that are returning to the district. In addition, we're doing a kind of a media tour when vacations are done here in a couple of weeks. So by mid-July, we'll already be out advertising our hubs. We've been working hard with the health department and with Unity Point and School Health. So we've identified those hub dates for our registrations at our high schools. And so those will be July 26th, 28th, and August 3rd from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then August 6th on a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., in addition to our normal Backpack Peoria on July 30th. And so we're actually offering physicals and immunizations at the health department and at Manual and the school health clinic. And we're offering shuttles from all the other hubs to those two locations, so families can have access to get those medical procedures done right there while they're registering for school. And then I've also been working with the mall. We're putting some banners through Northwoods Mall and actually doing a Stuff the Bus campaign there, putting a small bus in the middle of the mall, hopefully next week. And we'll run that up through the start of school. And advertising our hubs there and all the information, as well as collecting school supplies. So in addition to the media tour that will be starting around July 15th.
If, as a suggestion, I'm one for, I ran a call center for a number of years. We could dovetail on some things that are already happening. For instance, I know you've probably heard of the 211. I helped set that up early on. if this information if you could negotiate with them and have them provide this information, that would be I've always felt like, you can give information, but where do people get information? 24/7. So this would be an opportunity for them to dial 211. And if we were able to advertise that and negotiate and collaborate with that entity, it would be a way for people to say, if you need more information, call this number. you
Okay.
know. So it should be available to the public, and if we have information there, then it needs to be disseminated from that point.
Sure. And then I failed to mention too, we've been working with the PHA and have already been to a couple events that they've held at their properties, and I think we have another one coming up middle of July as well.
I believe in hotlines.
So, yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sure there are no board reports, or are there board reports? This would be the last opportunity for us to do board reports. May I have?
The voluminous binder of policy committee documents has been turned over to the board secretary that was formerly in my possession, and she's welcome to distribute that to the next members of the policy committee.
Thank you. Anything else for the good of this meeting? If not, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, do we need to call the roll for that? No? Okay. Thank you. We adjourn. I get a chance to do this for the last time. Oh, well, maybe not for the last time. Tomorrow I have to open, right?